Dead bug is a staple of core training. Done well, it's great exercise to help you position the ribcage, hips, and understand how to breathe. Done poorly, I'd say it's a complete waste of time. So what is a dead bug all about? Recognize that anytime my hands go overhead, I'm biased to want a ribcage flare. So I'm lying on the floor, I have feedback from the ground, so when my arms go overhead, I can make sure I keep that ribcage down. I like to always set these with an exhale first to really press that ribcage into the floor. From there should be a decent amount of lower back pressure into the ground, but you're not trying to really flex and use the rectus abdominis abs to really control that. So from there, the legs come up to 90 degrees. Now, of course, when the leg reaches forward, the pelvis is going to want to shift anteriorly. So we have this demand where the pelvis is going to want to shift down and forward, and the ribcage is going to want to tip up and back as the arms and legs move away from each other, which is why we always do this one arm and one leg at a time, and you do it with opposite limbs because that's how those joints more commonly work. So for me, the correct technique is to exhale, press the ribcage down, hold that position, inhale at the top, exhale and lower. Only take the joints down as low as you can without allowing that spine to lift off the ground. If you go so far that you find your lower back really arching, then you haven't got the strength to control that movement and you just want to modify the range of motion. So these can be quite shallow. I strongly advise to pair the exhale as you lower and the inhale as you come up. And I always suggest to allow the speed of the inhale and exhale to control the speed in which you lower the limbs. Like anything, it can be fun to load these. To do that at first, I suggest not to move the legs, but to keep the legs at 90 degrees. And then to learn to reach with the weight overhead. Notice how I tip the weight and reach my arms long so I can get the back of my arm really close to the ground. The more I can flex that shoulder overhead, the more the ribcage is going to want to flare, so the harder the demands of the exercise. That pullover variation really focuses on controlling the ribcage. To focus more on the pelvic control, I really like a wall press dead bug. Lie close to a wall or box, press the hands in against the wall, apply a decent amount of pressure into the wall to help keep the ribcage down, and then from there, exhale and reach away, inhale and come up. One of the main reasons I like to make sure we're exhaling on the way down and inhaling on the way up is to make sure the diaphragm and pelvic floor get involved in respiration, so therefore your intrinsic core stabilizers are the things that are controlling the position of the spine. So now you know how to correctly perform the dead bug. Let me know if there's any other exercise tutorials that you'd like me to cover.